CV. This is what I have seen previously, that someone will say, send me your CV. We are applying for the same job, or you are in the same field as mine, so send me your CV. And they are not getting this CV maybe to use them as a guide. No, they are just copying what the person said. We are applying for the same job now. No, use any one CV that you are taking, use them as a guide to write yours, not copying the person's CV. It is going to cost you a lot. Another things to note is that you should make your work experiences as clear and concise as possible. If you are a recent graduate, you might not have much work experience as someone that has been in the job for like 5 years, 10 years. But whatever experience you have, make them as clear and concise as possible. Also try to separate your work experience section into two. That's the relevant work experience and the additional work experience. In the UK, they don't want to see any gap in your CV. They don't want to see that, okay, there is a period. I'm not talking of just maybe days or weeks. I'm talking of months and years of gaps. They don't want to see that. So there might be jobs you pick up that time, probably freelancing or anything. You can put them as additional if they are not related to the job you are applying for. So section them into relevant and additional work experience. Also include both your soft skills and hard skills. And also your volunteering experience can also come into your CV. I've said it before, provide evidence of the skills you are claiming to have. Don't just put, I have this, I am a good this or that. No, provide the evidence. I'll show you how to provide that evidence later. Then use numbers and statistics to demonstrate skills and accomplishments. One very last thing to say here is do not lie in your CV. In a bid to sell yourself, in a bid to make yourself appear that you know what you're doing, that you are qualified for this job, don't lie in your CV. Don't put what you cannot do, don't put them in your CV. Now let's go to the next one, your CV outlook. Like I said before, if done well, your CV will give your employer a very good picture of who you are and what you can do. And a good CV can unlock many opportunities that excite and challenge you, while a bad one can mean that even if you are the most qualified person among all the applicants, you might never even get called for an interview. So the way you put your CV, the way you put your skills there matters a lot. So these are some CV examples. You have the standard CV, you have the skills-based CV. Like I said, most of the people that use the skill-based CV most are those that do not have much relevant experience. So try to accentuate your skills rather than your experience. That's what the skill-based CV will do. It tries to give the focus to your skills other than experience. I've attached a link here that you can see templates of some of the skills-based CV and also academic CV. The one I refer to as organization-specific CV. Some organizations have their own CV templates. They have their own CV format. For example, while applying to the civil service in the UK, they have the format they are following. The civil service do not expect you to put your country, they do not expect you to put your nationality. There are things they don't expect you to put because they don't want to be biased they don't want to base their judgment on those things. They don't want to someone that will be looking at your application to discriminate you based on that. So find out if the organization you are going to, that you're applying to, find out if they have their own CV templates. If they don't have, then you can go with any template. But make sure that I'll show what should be included in your CV. Make sure that you have those things included. But if they have a specific CV they are following in the organization, try as much as possible to make use of that template. So I have some questions here before we go ahead. How long do you think an employer might take to go through your CV? 10 minutes, 10 seconds, 60 seconds, 30 minutes. Answer.
10 seconds.
60 seconds.
10 seconds, 15 seconds. Is there any other answer?
16 seconds at
Okay. Thank you very much.
60 seconds.
60 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
10
So I'll
seconds.
say,
Standard. 10 seconds.
60 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
okay. Let's stop it here.
60
I'll say
seconds.
60 seconds. 60 seconds. In 1 minute, an employer wants to see everything they want to see about you. So why I ask this question is, if you go and submit CV that is like 3 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages CV, I don't know what you are writing. There are things that your employer will look out for, that if they cannot find it within 60 seconds, because there are many people that are going to apply for the same job you're applying for, and they will have to go through each of the application. Then within 60 seconds, they scan through your CV and they are done with it. Also, for a recent graduate or someone with not so much relevant experience, how long, I'm talking of pages now, do you think the CV should be?
1 or 2 pages. 2 pages.
Very good. I love the answer. 1 or 2 pages
page.
at most. At most 2. You shouldn't pass 2 pages. If you don't have much experience, you are a recent graduate, you should not pass 2 pages. Thank you very much for that. Now, this content of your CV, we have the personal statement or profile or personal objectives. It should just be 3 to 4 lines summarizing who you are and what you can do. That's your skills should be there, and as well as what you're applying for, your education, previous work experience, position of responsibility, if there is any. Then your volunteering. In the UK, they like volunteering very well. So if you have any volunteering role, put it there. If you are serving in a church, maybe you design their flyer, you do this for them, that's a volunteering role you can include in your CV. Also include your skills, the technical and non-technical skills, include them there. Your interests and hobbies. This is to give a sneak peek into what you do outside of work. Then the references, don't include references, names and the rest, don't include them if you are not asked for that. You should only include them on your CV if you were asked to do so. Otherwise, just put available on request under reference section. Next, we'll talk about common CV mistakes. We have spelling errors and bad grammar. When you are rushing to submit a CV, it's often possible to make spelling errors and use bad grammar. So one thing I would say is, do not rush to submit an application. Make sure you have enough time. I know there are times that maybe you see an application some minutes to deadline or a day to deadline. I understand there are cases like that, but make sure that even in those instances, you have some CV available in reserve that you can quickly edit and make fit for that particular position. Also, another mistake is submitting one CV for several job openings. I've talked about that before. Tailor your CV to the particular job you're applying for. Incorrect information, e.g. dates. I've made a mistake like that before. I submitted an application, and because I copied one job experience to the next line, I edited the job experience to fit that particular experience, but the date, I forgot to take out the date and or to replace the date with the recent one. Please cross-check your application before sending. Also, one mistake people do is using cliches. When I say cliches, I'm a very good communicator. I have a can-do attitude. I am a great team player. Those are cliches. Now, do you take those out of your CV? No, but if you cannot substantiate, if you can substantiate them with facts or examples, those are fine. But if you cannot substantiate them with facts or examples, then they are only cliches, and they will just look at your CV that I am a good communicator. Everybody says that. So try to avoid it. Also, poor formatting of your CV. you see that you have several font type. You use Times New Roman here, you use Calibri here, you use different one for that flat. When for formatting, you use different sizes in different places that are not regular, that are not consistent. Those can cost you a lot. Also, not accounting for gaps in your work history. UK employers or recruiters will send you a message and tell you, I noticed that there are gaps in this period. What happened there? Can you provide something to fill that period? So the thing is, they don't want you to just stay without doing anything. Even if you are not at a paid employment, be doing something, probably volunteering or maybe learning a skill. So you should not just make sure you account for every gap in your work history. Now, this is another question. You know, I talk about cliche, is talking about good communicator, can-do attitude. And I said, if you can substantiate them with facts, that will be better.
We have one more speaker to talk to us, ma.
Yes, I'll round up just in 1 minute.
There's only 5 minutes left.
Wow. Okay. In summary, we've gone through everything we need to go through. This the slide will be available to us at the end of the program. Thank you for attending this session. Let's just say a word of prayer before Lord, we thank you for this session. We pray that everything we've learned, we pray, Lord, you give us the grace, you help us to actualize them in our lives in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, ma.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening, ma.
Thank you for joining us. So I think Sister Sarah had actually covered some of the points, though we have a limited time now, but I'm just going to share my screen and just quickly pinpoint some of the things that she had said from a perspective of me being a sifter now, because I sift applications and I do interviews. So I'm just going to point out some of the pain points on my screen.
So Sister Eunice, while you're getting your slides up, please don't rush. We'll probably add a few more minutes so that you can cover your session appropriately. So
Thank you.
That's fine, thank you. Let me know if you can see my screen, please.
Yes, ma.
Yes, we can.
God bless you. So yeah, what I'm hoping to cover is to actually highlight those different pain points, on the job application process itself, and then talk about interview preparation. So I've created this process flow so that I can actually highlight those pain points on them. So I'll try as much as not to talk a lot on what Sarah had already covered. So she had covered this bit. If you're looking for a job, especially those, maybe you are based outside the UK now, go, they've showed us all those sites where the jobs are. Go there. What is your career? Where do you want to focus your career on? What are those gaps in those skills? Look for them. Create a SMART goal. Like she said, you can volunteer to gather those experiences, or if the skill, if there are tools you need to learn to use that will qualify you for those jobs. Yeah, you do that, and then you assess yourself. So coming to this now, for us, especially Africans, we study a lot and we have PhDs, we have masters, we have all of that. And then if I'm going to hire somebody for a junior business analyst role, and then you put on your CV that you have a PhD, for me, that's already, you are overqualified for that job. I'm not going to waste my time sifting your application at all, because I know that somebody is there that is just out of college, that wants to do that apprenticeship, be a junior BA, and then build their skills. So I would rather just give the job to somebody that is just fresh graduates, that that doesn't have any experience at all, rather than give it to a PhD holder. So that's why I've put it there, So sometimes we look at those applications very well, don't appear overqualified, and don't appear underqualified as well. Sometimes as well, we are Christians, we want to be humble, but when it comes to your career, there is nobody that will showcase you. It is your responsibility to showcase yourself, showcase the talents that you have, showcase the quality, the skills that you have. If you, for example, if they are asking for professional membership and you don't have it, you have your master's. For example, if you have master's in business analytics or, any of that, and then maybe for one reason or the other, you've not actually enrolled for the professional membership, you can put it there that, oh, I actually have master's in this, and that's will add a lot to your application. And I've pinpoint that as a pain point there. And then on this one, so like our sister said as well, so there are these employers have what they are looking for. Like, for example, in the civil, so I work for the civil service, I work for the UK government. In the civil service, we use what we call success profiles, because for the success profile, we want to know your technical skills, we want to know your behavior in terms of how you communicate, how you are able to deliver on a project, how you influence your stakeholders. So we want to be able to know all of that, how you make effective decisions. We want to be able to know that, so we have categorize it. So there are so many other employers as well, like the local councils, they tend to use different frameworks. So if you're applying for a job, check for that particular employer, do they have a framework that they use? Because if you are applying for civil service now, and you just gather your, this personal statement you have, and you put it there, it's not going to work. Oh, our time is up. Praise the Lord.
No, Sister Eunice, it's not up. You still have time. Still here.
Right. Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, thank you. So it's not going to work. I don't want you to use this personal statement that you have used to apply for job in Indeed and come and apply for job in civil service or other organizations. So you have to check the organization and make sure that you are using their framework. Because, for example, some of them will say that, okay, you expect, like our sister said, don't use cliche, don't use it. Don't tell me, oh, I'm a good communicator. And then you have not showed me how you have actually communicated. You have not shown me how you communicated. If you are telling me that, oh, you are a good communicator, I want to be able to see, oh, I arrange this face-to-face calls with my stakeholders. I discuss their concerns. I reviewed it. I reviewed their concerns. I provided feedback to them. That is showing me you are communicating. You send email to them. You arrange a face-to-face workshop or maybe an online meeting to clarify, any concern that they have. If I'm reading that as a sifter, I know that, oh, you can communicate. But if you just throw it there and say, oh, I'm a good communicator, how do I know? So you're not telling me anything. If you are saying that, and then like our sister said, you need to put the statistics there. Oh, okay, when I make this effective, this is the decision I make. And then my organization were able to do this, or maybe there was, maybe it's staff resources. And because we are using this high T, or maybe we are using this process now, 15% of, we don't need 15%, we have been able to save 15% of so amounts because now we don't need too much staff. So going back to where I am, so this one, like for example, some organization will want you to tailor, when you are talking about your experience, they want you to tailor it in a particular way. For example, I've put a star there. Sorry for the acronyms. STAR means the situation. What was the situation? What if you are telling me you are a good, you make effective decision. So what was the situation that happened? What happened? What are the tasks that you do? Maybe you said, oh, in your organization, yeah, maybe you are a customer service staff. Maybe you provide customer service, and then this person called you and said, oh, I actually have a problem with this product I bought, and I want you to help me. So those are the problems. That's the situation. That is the problem. And then what was your task? Your task is to help the person. So what are the actions you took? Or maybe you said, oh, actually, I went on our intranet in our organization. I look for the guidance on how to do it, how to go about it. Or maybe I rehearse with my colleagues, or I speak to my manager. I escalated it when I couldn't solve this problem. Or maybe, things like that. What are the actions that you took to be able to address that issue, and what was the result? So these are the things that we look for, because like our sister said, if I open your application and I look through it, they call sifters gold miners. I want to be able to see these are the things that we have put out that we are looking for. If I look into your application in 1 minute and I can't see it, I'm sorry, I'm going to move off, because sometimes we have loads of application. We have 200 plus for 10 roles. So you know how that is. It's very hard. And then another thing people do a lot is, if they say, write your personal statement 750 words, some people will go and write 1,250. And you know what we are meant to do as sifters is, if you're a nice person, you just highlight up to where that 750 is supposed to be. And if I don't see what I'm looking for within that 750, I'm sorry, I'm gone. And then, unfortunately, some people, they put the major things down, after that 750. And if I can't capture that, that is gone. And some people as well, what they do is they won't even write up to 750. And what, in the feedback, you just say, sorry, you didn't make good use of the word counts. Because that is what they give you. They've told you, these are the 750 words that you have to sell yourself. So tell me that you have the essential, and you can do this job that I have put out. So if you cannot use that 750 words to sell yourself, 60 minutes, I'm gone. I'm gone, because I have a lot. I have a lot of application to look at. So those are the things. Those are in that area. Another thing is take note of the closing dates. A lot of people will start application, and then maybe you want to ask questions. Take note of that closing date, because sometimes now we have people asking, oh, can you please help me to look at my personal statement, and then they are bringing it a day or 2 days to the closing date. That's very short, and that is even telling somebody about your attitude to that particular position that you think you're applying for. If you see the application date is different, but if you have time to be able to look, why not give it the time that it requires to be able to make a very good application. So, and this one is what, how, and outcome. It's just like the STAR format as well. So what I mean here is, seeking this review from experienced professionals and mentors. Don't just put things anyhow there. See, like my business analyst, there are different kinds of business analysts. There are digital BAs, there are project BAs, there are IT BAs, there are GDPR BAs, there are a lot of BAs. So don't come and put GDPR BA and applying for an IT BA. You are a business analyst. Oh, you have used this to apply for a job before. It doesn't work like that. If I'm looking for a project BA and I look at it, I just look at it, I will just put it aside, because that's not what I want, because I can't see what I'm looking for in that your application. So check with people, seek network with people, let them look at it. Oh, have I written this one right? Is this one okay? And then people that have maybe submitted application in that organization before, tell them, I've stopped giving people my personal statement because of what our sister said. I was shocked recently. We were doing sifting. We're doing sifting training, and then somebody said, we were sifting, and then the person just went blank, like quiet. And the other person said, what happened? And he said, my own, so we call it behavior in civil service. Those are the things I'm talking about, like how you communicate, how you make effective decisions. And that is exactly what he said. My own behavior I wrote is what I'm looking at. So that apparently, maybe he has sent it to somebody, just tailor it, just use it as a guide. And then the person just took it straight, word for word, just like that, and put it there. So, and if you see that, so that like now, so many organizations have even, they've started saying, if they see any plagiarism, they are going to, you know, they will just, they can even take you up if they see that you have plagiarized your application. So, and about shortlisting, so I've already talked a bit about that. Let your application stand out. If it doesn't, if I cannot see in 1 minute, if I cannot just look and say, oh, okay, if I look at your CV and know that, oh, okay, it's your CV that will tell me if I should go ahead. But, you know, sometimes now, some organization, they will still tell you, just look at everything. Just look at everything. But then why should you put yourself in that position when you have better chances? So, and then it's not everybody. It's not even the organization has told you this is how you do it. It's not everybody that have that good mind of, oh, they said, it's some people. In fact, we were sifting application recently, and one of, you know, and I didn't even know. And the person said, oh, this one is making me hungry, the way she put this. And I read it, I was not hungry. So what if, you know, you don't know who is going to undo your application. So in the nutshell, put yourself in a good light. Make yourself visible, put yourself, make yourself sellable within that period. I mean, within that opportunity that you have to showcase yourself. And then another thing we don't do a lot is to seek feedback. So if I make application like that, you're not successful, go back. Some organizations like Indeed, I don't know about all those Indeed, but then for like civil service, I'm very sure we have our portals where you will log in and then you have your accounts. When you make your application, the account is there. You can log back into your account and then look at your feedback. They provide a feedback for you. You know, sometimes they grade it on 0 to 7 scale, and then they will tell you what you did. You know, why we were not successful, and then take that feedback. Some people will just say, oh, that's my, unfortunately, I couldn't go through. Look at the feedback. Look at the feedback. That's where I've put it here. Look at the feedback. If you're not successful, go back and act on those feedback. Create smart goal for yourself. Do you need to acquire more skills or do you need to do more? So, and then, so for the interview stage, I have put some things here. So if you have done interview before and then you are not successful, there's no point making the same mistake again. Reflect on what you did wrong in the past. You know, make plans, create goals on how you're going to improve on it, you know, and then all of that. And then go through, when you have invited for interview, go through your job description, go back to that advert. Or maybe they have sent you an email on the format the interview is going to take, the location of the interview. Some of them, they will allow you to take, you know, prompts, we call it notes. You can handle a sheet of paper like this just to have notes. Some people don't, so you need to be sure. And then put your, you know, get ready before the interview, do all of this. Read everything into details, prepare yourself. Like our sister said, make your answers to be concise. You know, from that job description, you will know what they are going to ask you about. From the essential criteria, you will know the questions.
However, time is not our friend, I'm afraid. We have to move on with the program. But again, do make use of the platform Slido to send in your questions. I tell you, they are being looked at in real time, and our speakers are going to be attending to them. We're just going to pick one or two as we go on that we think should be verbalized so that everybody can hear about them. But what stops you from logging on to Slido? You can as well put your questions there and get them answered. So we wait for, and I want to believe everyone is here now because.
Yes. Both rooms have closed now. I know the Cracking the UK job code was asking that I would give maybe another few minutes. Right. Okay. So the only option is that we'll send everybody back to the room where they have just come from, and we'll close those rooms in another 3 to 4 minutes. Is that all right?
I think that's fine by me because I think she's
yes.
touching the critical, what is it called?
Yeah.
Yes,
all right. Okay. So we'll recover to pre-assigned room. Everybody will go back to their rooms. Just
can we just have that in this common session then, rather than go back?
I think that's a better option.
Yes, that's a good. So we can actually complete the discussion here for everybody to see. Right. Yeah. So can we go with, did you manage to finish breakout room 1? Or are we? Okay, so it's just breakout room 2. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So can the facilitator from breakout room just start sharing slides from where you stop, please?
Mr. Eunice.
Yeah, Mr. Eunice.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can all see your screen.
Yes.
Yes, so like I was saying, and thank you for opportunity to just quickly wrap up. So what I was saying is, from that application, they will have sent you an email to tell you how the interview is going to go. And then from that, from the job description, from the essential criteria, you will know, you will have an idea. So ask a colleague, you know, to tell you, I mean, to listen to you, to do a mock interview for you, you know, set possible question. What if they ask me this? What if they ask me this? And some organization, some, you know, like me, if I'm interviewing somebody, I will only give, you know, in our panel, we give like 5, in fact, maximum 8 minutes for you to answer a question. So you want to be able to time yourself as well. So how am I doing with time and all of that? And then when you have done that, like our sisters, research about the organization, I've had people come to interview and ask, oh, are you going to be training me for this post? I don't want to hire you to start training you. I expect you to have the skill, you know, to be able to do the job. And if you are coming to say, oh, are you going to be training me for this? That is a red flag for the employer. So on your interview day, plan. Most interviews are online now, but then what if it's face-to-face? Plan it, test your devices. You know, I've had people, you know, especially people that are my color, sometimes I will be pinching myself. Why are you doing this? People will come, they have already said, let's get your ID ready. People will come, they will start looking around. Oh, where's my ID? And then they will say, you know, you don't need to come to, you know, into interview and say, oh, good morning, sir. Good morning, ma. We don't need all that. All we want to know is, we have put this job out, you have applied, okay, we have shortlisted you for interview. Are you able to do the job? That is all we want. That is what we want to know. Oh, sorry. Oh, I think, can you still hear me? Can you hear me?
We can still hear you, but we can't see your slides.
Yes. So that's all I want to know, that you are able to do the job, and not that you want to say hello, you want to say yes, ma, yes, sir to me. And then another thing is, control your nerves. Interviews can really be you can be nervous, but then you don't need to come to your interview and let your employer know that all your nerves are written on your face, because that first impression matters a lot. Even if you are nervous, calm down. In fact, sometimes we have to tell them, calm down, take a deep breath. So, and then you can have water beside you as well. If you think that, oh, you want to think, because I do that a lot when I go for interview myself. I get a glass of water. If I want to think about the answers, I just take a sip of water, and by the time I'll be able to gather my thoughts. Gather your thoughts together. Don't let your thoughts be all over the place. Maintain eye contact. You are looking at the interview, you are talking, and then mind your body language as well. People will be doing like this, they will be doing a lot of things, and then you'll be like, oh my goodness. So you don't need to do all of that. Watch your body language, watch your tone of voice. I've had somebody that we interviewed somebody, the person was really good, but then the job owner think, oh, it sounds too arrogant. Like he won't fit, he has the good technical skills and everything, but then he thought, this person is not going to fit into my team because he has a very good team, and he doesn't want somebody to come to the team and just mess up the whole team because of the arrogance and all of that. So, and then listen carefully to questions, because when people are answering questions, you'll be thinking, that's not what I'm asking. Because they are not there. It's like they are there, but they are not there. They are not listening attentively to the question. Listen attentively to the question so that you will be able to provide the right answer to that question. And then mind the use of the language as well. So yeah, and all of that. I think I'll just wrap up there. If you need the slide will be made available at the end of the session. And then if you have any question as well, I'll still be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you very, very much to all our speakers in our breakout rooms 1 and 2 for being such resource persons to help us handle these sessions. Again, we have a platform for asking and answering questions. Slido, put your questions on Slido and they will be attended to. Again, thank you so much, all our speakers. We will